Cinephiles, welcome back to another edition of the Monday Morning Review with a side of spoilers. I'm JS.
And I'm Alex.
And this morning we're talking about Noah.
Noah.
This is not your dad's Noah. Let's just say there's a lot of artistic liberties taken.
Oh yes, a lot.
I would argue this is a very thematically rich movie. I think there's lots going on. There's stuff taken from other Bible stories that's just thrown in there. Even though they didn't have like a clear reference to Noah in the text, I felt like it completely worked here. Though, it's an insane movie at some points.
Yes, it is.
Let's just get right into it. First and foremost, I think the Watchers. Can you tell us a little bit about these creatures?
The Watchers essentially are these rock-like creatures, and what they explain it as is fallen angels who take pity upon the human race, and they try to help the human race out of their, basically the situation after sin comes in after the Garden of Eden. And they are a very concrete, I mean, not to be punny, but a very concrete form of the world building going on, where there is a very absent creator or a god figure in this film. Like he only speaks to Noah through like these dreams and visions that he has. Which is interesting because in the biblical text, it's like he's straight up told, he's like, build an ark, and he gives them actual like dimension instructions and what to make it, what to make it out of and stuff like that. And
initially, Noah has no idea what he needs to do. And one of my favorite early sequences in this movie, he comes out of his tent and he's just like, or I think he wakes up from a dream, and it's a dream within a dream, and he's completely underwater, and mankind is just drowning.
It's
pretty
like
terrifying. This heavy metal music, and I'm just like, this is the Noah movie I honestly wanted, like from Aronofsky.
He did a really good job in showing the terrifying world. Like basically why the flood showed up. When
I first heard that Aronofsky was going to adapt his favorite Bible story, Noah, I was so excited because this is like a true American auteur. If you look at his roots like Pi and Requiem for a Dream, like these are crazy movies with just very creative filmmaking, like front and center. And then after Black Swan, which is the only reason he could have tackled a project this big, because it was a $13 million budget, made over $300 million worldwide. After that, he was basically given free reign to make whatever he wanted. And so at that point, I thought, okay, he's going to make a really interesting version of Noah, just based on his existing filmography. This might sound like a lame analogy, but like the Watchers themselves, how they're these big rock creatures with light bursting through, I almost feel like that's what this movie is like. And those lights coming through are Aronofsky's true vision. And there's a moment when he's telling his whole family the story in Genesis 1.
Best scene in the movie, I thought.
It's an amazing sequence, and that's straight up Aronofsky. That's something he totally would have done. Though a good portion of this movie takes place on the Ark and after. And I wasn't necessarily expecting that. No,
and that's actually where I had the biggest qualm, is once the flood showed up, which was amazing, and they're on the Ark. I guess to me it's like the conflicts that actually happened on the Ark, I thought, with like Tubal-Cain, for instance, getting on the Ark. And
Ray Winstone, I thought he was great, great job. Eating this role up completely.
And sometimes literally eating other animals. Like, I thought his role was really good. I just didn't really like that, like, dramatically, his purpose on being on the Ark, I thought was kind of like, I was like, okay, he's there for like an obligatory fight scene, but it didn't really feel like it was advancing anything. Where like, I thought it would have been more interesting had like the family had to deal with, like, what if the animals woke up? What if they started eating each other? Like,
I feel like those logistics are like almost completely forgotten, so that we can have a lot more of these thematical roots, like this struggle of good versus evil. And this Cain type character, he's there to exist primarily to tempt Ham.
I don't know what made Aronofsky decide what he decided, but like, technically, all his sons had wives. Going into the Ark. So like, I felt like, okay, fine, they're gonna try a different route, whatever. But I felt like they kind of ran themselves into a corner at the end with like not having wives, and then there's like this weird moment of like, this is technically kind of weird, potential incest.
It's incestuous,
which is funny because like that wasn't actually part of the story. Like it's one of those few instances in the Old Testament where like that wasn't like a potential issue.
And the story there were just enough people, but in this version, not quite. So it's going to be very interesting. And the whole there's a story basically mirroring the binding of Isaac, what Abraham had to do with his son.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really harrowing stuff. You know,
Yeah.
I had no idea that this was going to happen,
Yeah.
and I was really shocked by where it went. So lots of surprises on Noah for sure.
Yeah.
Would you recommend it to other people?
I would recommend it, but I would also recommend to read the actual story later to kind of
Okay.
see a good comparison. So
Yeah.
I'd recommend both.
Yeah, same here. I think it's completely bonkers, but it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It works as a blockbuster, and it's very thematically rich. So, big recommendation from both of us, I
Yeah.
feel. So,
Yeah.
for Movie Clips, I'm JS.
And I'm Alex.
Thanks for watching.